Hello, I'm Becky White, and I'm in the Organization Development and Evaluation Unit, serving as a resource specialist for grant development. My role is to assist those interested in seeking grants. This series of web-based trainings is designed to help a beginner in grant seeking to get started. To get ready for this training, you will need to pause the training and return to the Organization Development and Evaluation Unit SharePoint site. In the online training folder, you need to print out the 4 related materials for Module 1. These include Logic Model Guide, Preliminary Project Idea Exercise, the Project Idea Worksheet, and the Project Profile Worksheet. After printing out these documents, you're ready to continue the online training. The Grant Writing Training Series is designed to provide you with basic information about writing for grants to enhance your extension programs. To date, there are 6 modules. Module 1, Getting Started. 2, Creating a Program Logic Model. 3, Identifying Potential Funders. 4, Basic Elements of a Grant. 5, Developing a Grant Budget. And 6, LSU Ag Center Grant Protocol. Module 1 should take about 30 minutes to complete. The Grant Seeking Training Series goal is for participants to attain the knowledge, skill, and confidence to develop a grant proposal. The training series objectives include participants gaining knowledge of strategies to start developing a grant proposal, basic components of a grant proposal, ways to find potential grant funders, and the LSU Ag Center Grant Protocol. The long-term impact expected as a result of sharing this information is that extension agents write for grants, receive grant funding, and implement projects that foster their clientele's growth, development, and quality of life. I think this image represents challenges we're facing in our Cooperative Extension Service world. We've been going through a dry spell in our organization for quite a while insofar as funding. Everyone is worried about our shrinking organizational budget and the future of the Extension Service. Declining federal, state, and local revenues are having an impact on our work. You might ask, are there solutions to our budget challenges? I think one potential solution is increasing our grant funding to enhance our programs. To be successful at securing grants, everyone must pitch in and help. We all need to add successful grant writing to our professional skill set. You can do this. It's not rocket science. It's sitting down and putting your ideas, your creative thinking in a document. You can do it in an organized, methodical way or a fast and furious way. You can do it alone or with a partner or a team. You can make the process work for you and your preferences. Regardless, it's a talent that will be valuable in the future to you as a professional. Let's begin. To get started in grant writing, you need to consider several things. You should know Extension's mission and purpose, recognize your own personal expertise, your interests and passions, know the current organizational capacity, know about the needs of the people you're thinking of serving, select a single project idea, start small, complete a logic model, research for potential grant funders, and then dive in and get started. As they say, just do it. As a beginner in grant development, it is critical that you know Extension's mission, values, strengths, purpose, and reason for existing. Consider that you will need to convince a funder that investing money in one of our organization's educational programs is likely to result in a successful outcome. As a grant developer, your goal should be to seek funds that are supportive of and aligned with Extension's priorities, needs, values, and ideals. The idea is to obtain funding that will help you accomplish what your organization needs to get accomplished, not to simply get more funds. We work for the LSU Ag Center Cooperative Extension Service. Our mission is to help the people of Louisiana improve their lives through an educational process that uses research-based knowledge focused on issues and needs. Another consideration in getting started with grant seeking is to think about the kind of educational outreach programs you would be most interested in working on. What is a topic or an area that you have expertise in? What are you passionate about? Does it mesh with Extension's priorities? I think you have to be passionate about something to give it your best. I often hear, I wish I could, but I'm too busy, or I can't find the time, or I don't know how to do that. I believe you have to be so passionate about whatever you think is important to accomplish that you decide you cannot in good conscience not develop the grant. So ask yourself, what do I care about? What could make a difference for my clientele and my program? What would be likely to have good outcomes and make an impact? Take time to hash this out in your mind. It'll serve you well. Now more than ever, it is important that you frankly assess Extension's capacity when considering a grant-funded project idea. This assessment makes a difference in whether or not you can seek a grant, the type of grant you select to pursue, and how much money you will need from the funder to get the job done. Ask yourself these questions about your project ideas. Can I do it alone? Or do I need one or more coworkers involved? Or can I get it done with the help of volunteers? Do I need to request funding to cover my time on this project? That would mean that you need to include in the proposal the salary and benefits for the portion of professional time you estimate will be required to accomplish the project. Another question, is it suitable for your work location? Also, do I need technology? And if so, is the cost likely to be prohibitive? Can I keep the grant-funded technology secure? Do I have the knowledge to use technology if it's needed? Or do I need to plan costs for technology expertise? What supplies and materials are ideal for this project? Are there lower cost alternatives? What is essential and what is not? It's important to be thorough. You might even ask, do we already have some of the materials and supplies necessary that can be in-kind offerings from Extension? Good Extension agents know their people and they know their local situation. They know what challenges their clientele are facing and what kind of efforts and topics they're most interested in. They have advisory groups that provide insights and ideas as to what type of projects might have a positive impact. Good Extension agents know what kind of project would most likely benefit their clientele's positive human development. It's important that you consider what you know about your clientele, your local program, your local situation, and think about what type of project has the best chance of success and positive impact while you consider a grant project. How do you come up with great grant ideas? For some, this process is simple, as they have many ideas bouncing around in their head. For others, it may be a bit more difficult. You may have to take some time to think about your extension program, your advisory committee's suggestions for programming, and perhaps your administrator's ideas for improving your educational program. One example to consider is human health. Human health improvement through gardening is a project focus that most all extension professionals could address in a special project. Community and school gardens are all the rage now, and many of our colleagues are pursuing grants in this area. We have an abundance of professionals with expertise in horticulture, community development, youth development, and adult education, thus making improving human health through gardening activity ideal to consider for grant programming. We're not limited to this topic, though. We should consider many options. The next step for those getting started in grant seeking is to start small. As an example, let's take the idea of school gardens. Let's say you're a 4-H agent and you have 10 organized 4-H clubs with reasonably strong leadership. Should your first grant proposal project encompass establishing 10 different school gardens? I would advise not. I would select one school and then visit with the leader, the principal, your coworkers, and gardening volunteers to determine if they're interested and committed to the idea. Then work with them to co-develop the proposal. The idea here is not to bite off more than you can chew. How many of you have completed a logic model? Logic models are a great way to schematically plan an educational project. They can also help you in pulling together a grant proposal. I recommend that you develop your logic model before your grant proposal. Then, when you find an appropriate funding opportunity, it will be a ready resource to assist you as you develop your proposal. The University of Wisconsin Extension has developed a logic model guide for extension professionals. It's excellent. You can find outstanding logic model resources at their website. This guide indicates what should be included in each portion of the logic model. First, complete the situation portion for your program idea. Answer this question: What situation exists that justifies the need for this program? Then you move to the priorities portion of the logic model. Ask yourself, what priorities are being considered for this project? After completing these two items, you complete a logic model from the right side of the page, starting with long-term outcomes and working back. So looking closely at this schematic, long-term impact, ask yourself, what big effects would you expect your program to contribute to if implemented? What changes to social, economic, civic, or environmental conditions might occur? Moving to medium-term outcomes, ask yourself, what clientele actions would you expect as a result of this program? What behaviors, practices, decisions, policies, and social actions might occur? Next would be short-term outcomes. What learning would you expect your clientele to gain as a result of this programming? What awareness, knowledge, attitudes, skills, opinions, aspirations, and motivations might change? Next are outputs in terms of participation. Who will be reached? Be sure to think in terms of program participants, clients, agencies, decision makers, and customers. This is where you can also plan a program process evaluation effort. This would assess the program participants' satisfaction with the program as implemented. Next would be outputs in terms of program activities. What will the project do? These could include workshops, services, curriculum, resources, training, counseling, assessing, partnering, working with media. Moving on, next is inputs. What are the investments needed? Consider staff, volunteers, time, money, research base of information, materials, equipment, technology, and partners. After you've completed this part of the logic model, you look below to the two blue boxes. Think about assumptions you may have made regarding this project idea. Also think about any external factors that exist that might influence the program. After you identify those items, move on to evaluation. All projects should include an evaluation portion. After completing your logic model, it's time to research for potential funding sources. There are several ways you can find grant funders. First, start a file on funders you discover. This can be hard copy or an electronic file or both. Then make note and file away any grant opportunities you receive through email notices from colleagues or newsletters or organizations. You might want to create a separate file for each different funder that includes basic information like the funder's name, website URL, contact information, any current funding priorities they have, deadlines, and typical award amounts. You can also review grant funders' websites for relevant grant information. Determine if they're a good fit with your type of outreach program. Also consider signing up for SMARTS. This is available through the Louisiana Board of Regents. To sign up, just conduct an internet search for Louisiana SMARTS. Also, you can conduct an internet search for NASCO Get a Grant. You can sign up and obtain a spreadsheet with your grant topics of interest. Also, you can conduct an internet search for Norris Consulting Group News. You can sign up for their e-newsletter and receive monthly notices of upcoming grants and due dates. Finally, search through Google or Bing for grant funding opportunities. If these are too overwhelming, I recommend starting out with a simple Google or Bing search, contacting me, Becky White, in the Organization Development and Evaluation Unit, and perhaps the Norris Consulting Group e-news as first steps. Finally, after you complete a logic model and have found several potential funders, you're ready to begin to develop a proposal for your project. Determine what grant funding source you're going to pursue. Review their grant proposal requirements carefully. Always print out the grant proposal's requirement from their website, read it several times, and highlight the key points. Writing a grant narrative doesn't have to be overwhelming. You complete one section at a time until you're done. The critical thing is to get started. So as a first step in your grant seeking, you need to begin to flesh out your program idea. This is a key step in grant development. Take out your preliminary project idea exercise sheet. On this sheet, note any advisory committee suggestions for programming that you might have heard in your last advisory meeting. You also need to consider your particular extension program knowledge, things that you think would work in your situation. Then consider ideas from other sources. These can be grant ideas that you've heard at a conference, or perhaps through a newsletter from a colleague. Then review all the ideas you've noted and select the one that you think is the best fit for your professional efforts. Now you're ready to move on to the next step in getting started in grant seeking. Focusing your project idea. Start by answering the following questions. What is your major goal? What major problem or need will your idea address? Who or what is affected by this problem or need? How might you address this major problem or need? What do you hope the results will be? Pause the training and answer the questions on your Focus Your Project Idea worksheet. Resume the training when you have finished. Here's an example of refining your project idea using gardening as the grant project. I answered the following questions. What is your major goal? Children increase intake of vegetables and fruits. Children learn gardening skills and nutrition. What major problem or need will the idea address? Unhealthy children's diets, children's lack of exposure to freshly grown fruits and vegetables. Who is affected? Children ages 8 to 11, families, community, society. How will you address this issue? Children will grow a garden, children will learn about nutrition, and prepare fresh fruits and vegetables. What do you expect the results to be? Children will gain knowledge of home gardening, food preparation, and nutrition. Children will gain specific gardening and fresh food preparation skills, and children will increase their intake of fruits and vegetables in their diet. Now let's develop a project profile. Start by completing these steps. Identify the big problem. Then identify your target population. List any contributing factors to the big problem. Identify the specific problem to be addressed. List strategies or methods that you plan to employ. Then list any short-term results, medium-term results, and long-term impacts that you expect. Pause the training here and complete the project profile worksheet, further refining your project idea. Resume the training when you've finished. I've included an example of developing your project profile using gardening as the topic again. The big problem, childhood obesity and overweightness. The target population, children ages 8 to 11 in XYZ school. Contributing factors to the big problem, lifestyle, poverty, genetics, diet deficits, lack of nutrition, gardening and food prep knowledge, access to fresh fruits and veggies. Identify the specific problem. This was exposure to fresh fruits and veggies, nutrition, gardening, and food preparation skills. Strategies or methods. Grow a school garden. Teach kids food prep and nutrition. Kids will prepare and eat garden-grown foods. Short-term results were listed as kids gain knowledge and skills in gardening, nutrition, and food preparation. Medium-term results were kids will eat more fruits and veggies at home and at school. And long-term impacts expected are that kids would be healthier. Congratulations! You've completed Module 1, Getting Started, with a grant proposal. To recap what was covered, you need to know Extension's mission and purpose, recognize your own personal expertise, interest, and passion, know the current organizational capacity situation, know about the needs of the people you're thinking of serving, complete a logic model for the project, and start small with your project idea, research for potential grant funders, and then dive in and get started with your proposal, one piece at a time. As the saying goes, just do it. Thank you for viewing this presentation. I hope you will set a personal goal to get started in writing a grant. Your extension program can be enhanced through grants. The activities covered in this module have prepared you for completing further grant writing activities found in Module 2, Developing a Logic Model.